before ceremonies to mark the 1941 attack.
A full House vote on the impeachment of President Trump could come the week before Christmas.
We're going to hear a lot more from Kamala in a lot of different ways.
She can be a president someday herself. She can be the vice president.
Could Senator Kamala Harris return to the 2020 race as a vice presidential candidate?
This is the Cannonball Run.
A team of outlaw racers set a new record in a real-life cannonball run. Welcome back to Early Start, everybody. I'm Christine Romans.
I'm Dave Briggs, 4:31 Eastern Time. We start with breaking news. Overnight, deadly gunfire causing panic and a lockdown at a military base in Hawaii. 2 civilian shipyard workers at Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam killed by a U.S. sailor who then killed himself. A 3rd civilian employee was wounded and is in stable condition. Rear Admiral Robert Chadwick says the attack came just a few days before commemorations on the 1941 Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor.
The role that the shipyard played in World War II is pretty legendary, and the shipyard is well known for, the amazing work they did then and the amazing work they continue to do. So this is certainly a tragedy for everyone here.
Chadwick says the attack took place near Dry Dock 2, a maintenance area for nuclear submarines. An investigation is underway. Authorities have not released a motive nor the identities of the shooting victims or the shooter. We'll bring you more information as we get it.
White House Democrats now planning their next steps after 4 legal scholars yesterday made the case for and against impeaching President Trump. Sometime next week, the Judiciary Committee will hear from staffers on the Intelligence Committee testifying about the findings of their investigations. We also expect a Judiciary Committee vote on articles of impeachment. Then the week of December 16th, a possible House floor vote on articles of impeachment. So what, as of now, could be in those articles? Well, the Democrats' report lays out evidence for abuse of power and bribery, obstruction of justice, and obstruction of Congress. Democrats debating whether to wrap the president's actions listed in Robert Mueller's Russia investigation into those obstruction counts. At Wednesday's hearing, the Democrats' 3 witnesses agreed the president had committed impeachable offenses.
Did President Trump commit the impeachable high crime and misdemeanor of abuse of power based on that evidence and those findings?
Based on that evidence and those findings, the president did commit an impeachable abuse of office.
Professor Carlin, same question.
Same answer.
And Professor Gerhardt?
We 3 are unanimous.
Republicans witness, law professor Jonathan Turley, warned of a slippery slope. He said thin evidence could lead to more and more frequent impeachments.
This impeachment not only fails to satisfy the standard of past impeachments, but would create a dangerous precedent for future impeachments. If you prove a quid pro quo, that you might have an impeachable offense.
Turley cast doubt on a quid pro quo despite significant evidence seen by millions of Americans.
But to be clear, what you just described is a quid pro quo. It is funding will not flow unless the investigation into the Democratic server happened as well.
We do that all the time with foreign policy.
Was there a quid pro quo? As I testified previously, with regard to the requested White House call and the White House meeting, the answer is yes.
Whatever risks of impeachment, House Democrats seem ready to plunge ahead. Behind closed doors yesterday, sources tell us Speaker Nancy Pelosi asked her members, quote, "Are you ready?" They replied in unison, yes.
So one of the Democrats' impeachment witnesses sparking outrage from Republicans and the White House after she invoked the name of the president's 13-year-old son, Barron, during that hearing.
Laying an individual's
Stanford law professor Pamela Karlan was making the point that the Constitution limits the president's power, but admits she went too far.
And I'll just give you one example that shows you the difference between him and a king, which is the Constitution says there can be no titles of nobility. So while the president can name his son Baron, he can't make him a baron. I want to apologize for what I said earlier about the president's son. It was wrong of me to do that. I wish the president would apologize, obviously, for the things that he's done that's wrong, but I do regret having said that.
The First Lady Melania Trump blasted the professor on Twitter, saying a minor child deserves privacy and should be kept out of politics. Pamela Karlan, you should be ashamed of your very angry and obviously biased public pandering and using a child to do it.
House Democrats want to know more about Dash 1. That's the mysterious stand-in for the number dialed by Rudy Giuliani and newly released phone records from the House Intelligence Committee. Those records also show numerous calls from President Trump's personal attorney to the White House and the Office of Management and Budget.
Mr. President, can you explain why your personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, would need to talk to the budget office?
I really don't know. You gotta have to ask him. Sounds like something that's not so complicated. Frankly, but you'd have to ask him. No big deal.
According to the New York Times, Giuliani traveled to Hungary and Ukraine this week to meet with several former Ukrainian prosecutors actually participating in a documentary series for a right-wing cable network, all part of his effort to defend the president against the impeachment inquiry.
All right, more Americans will have to work for food stamps under a new Trump administration rule. The requirement limits states' ability to waive existing work mandates and could result in 688,000 people losing their food support benefits. It's part of the administration's efforts to overhaul the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP. More than 36 million Americans currently receive these benefits. Right now, states can waive the work requirement for areas where unemployment is at least 10% or there is an insufficient number of jobs, giving states flexibility on local areas where there simply aren't the jobs to make that requirement so that you don't need the waiver. The 3.6 unemployment rate is the national average. Agriculture Secretary Sonny Perdue said this rule lays the groundwork for the expectation that able-bodied Americans re-enter the workforce where there are currently more job openings than people to fill them. But critics say it could leave more struggling Americans hungry. The new rule takes effect in April.
All right, ahead 2020 Democrats getting peppered with this question on the campaign trail.
Would you consider Senator Harris as a running mate?
More on Senator Kamala Harris as a running mate next.
Next time on Vital Signs, what is traditional Chinese medicine?
We look to the whole balance of the body.
Herbs and teas and Tai Chi and acupuncture. Finding a home now in today's modern world of medicine. How are you certain that it's going to work?
Vital Signs, Saturday on CNN, in association with Bangkok Dusit Medical Services.
This is the story of our amazing planet.
But the ending is uncertain.
The scales are tipping, and not in our favor.
We must find a blueprint for a sustainable future. Call to Earth. A breakthrough CNN and Rolex partnership.
We have to find new ways to reduce the impact of our daily lives. It's going to take all of us working together.
And here at CNN, we're committed. We will start and engage global conversations. Help empower communities to create solutions and inspire change.
This is CNN's Call to Earth.
This is my call to Earth. What's yours?
Iconic Budapest, Saturday on CNN.
You've seen it play out, and so have we around the world.
High drama in the House of Commons.
Explosive political battle.
Just isn't guaranteed nothing yet.
Uncharted territory. The country is exhausted.
It's almost too close to call.
There's a lot of back and forth to consider.
Every issue is critical. Every seat matters. Every vote counts. In the unpredictable election that has everyone talking, CNN has every angle in the 2019 UK election. For continuing coverage, stay with CNN.
This is the 100 Club, our look at companies that are 100 years old or older.
When I
talk to anybody and tell them I work at Crayola, they always have a story to share about their first box, their first 64 count box, or the 24 count box that they use for school.
Crayola, the name synonymous with crayons, actually began 116 years ago under a different name. Binney and Smith, the company's founders. In 1903, the Crayola brand was born, with the first box of crayons in 8 colors.
We were selling Crayola chalk in schools, and we noticed that the kids didn't have any colored wax sticks to color with. And so our founders, Binney and Smith, wanted to create a wax crayon that would be affordable for kids to use in the classroom.
Today we live in an unpredictable environment, and news races around the world at breakneck speed.
I didn't know what his intention was. I knew it could be obstruction of justice.
My show brings you the latest news and top news makers.
Are you playing with fire?
And we also dive below the headlines to explore vital issues impacting our lives.
It's about right and wrong.
But you have to stand up for what you believe in.
We need to realize that our future is at risk and we need to take action.
Was that kind of mortifying, or did you enjoy? I mean, you were great.
It's crucial we make sense of what's happening.
Do you regret that? Do you think there should be nuclear power or more commitment to a clean environment?
New Zealand had its experience and changed its laws. To be honest with you, I do not understand the United States.
Does love have a chance of winning?
I don't always believe that.
And fully understand what's at stake.
Aman Paul, next on CNN.
I'm Riley in Atlanta, and this